everybody. Oh my god, look, my animated emotes finally got accepted. After how many weeks, though? How many weeks was that? Because I submitted these emotes back in February. Hello, Sword Stranger. Welcome on in. Thorn, Small Peepee, Griffo, Jay. How is everybody doing tonight? I'm just getting like really hyped that my animated emotes finally got accepted after 400 million weeks. Yes, Jay. Holy shit, though. So finally, it's not so naked in my emote section. So super hyped for that. There was actually even more that I have, because I was seeing some of them would sometimes get accepted, some of them wouldn't. So I'm gonna have to like check in. Yes, okay, I heard the meow. I made sure to log into sound alerts this time. So I heard it on my end. Let me know if you heard it on your end, and if the audio for the game is too loud, or if the game audio is like fine. You just said naked like it's a bad thing. Well, you know what though? Because like I had a bunch of stuff that I uploaded and only half of it got accepted. Okay, you heard it fine on mobile? Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I did like a bunch of testing and shit like way in advance this time. So I'm not going to be fiddling around too much. Tonight we're going to be playing the first tree. So for me, this isn't my first playthrough. I did play this last year. A year and a half ago, but it's such a lovely game, you guys. I honestly think that indie games like this deserve a lot more love, especially when you learn about the backstory, about the creator, how he made this. It's so interesting. So there's also going to be some narration going on in the game. So I did turn on the subtitles. And when the story is going to be unfolding, I'm just going to let the narrator speak, so I won't talk over that part. So if anyone's going to be chatting in the chat, I'll just be waiting until the narration is done to speak myself. So let's get started. I'm so hyped. This is such a lovely game. I love it so much. So these are the types of games that I'm usually into. Smaller indie games that are centered around like, emotive themes. This one is a little bit sad. So get your tissues ready. But it's like a bittersweet story. Cheesy! Hi, Cheesy! Welcome on in. How are you? I just mentioned there's going to be some narration going on, so while they're talking, I'm just going to go quiet and let you guys listen/read. So.
Are you awake? I thought I heard you get up.
Yeah, I'm awake. Sorry, I just can't sleep.
Are you thinking about him?
Yeah, a bit. You should get back to sleep, my love. I'm fine.
No, it's okay. What else is on your mind?
I don't know. It seems weird, but I had one of the most vivid dreams of my life. I saw a fox on a snowy mountain, just looking confused and worried. Those eyes. I can't get those eyes out of my head. She was running in the windy snow, looking for something.
Do you think it has to do with you and what's been going on?
I don't know. It was just a dream, Rachel. They're not meant to make sense. A lot's happened the past couple days, that's all.
Well, if you're not going to sleep anyway, you should tell me. I want to hear.
All right.
I'm fantastic. Thank you, Cheesy. So yes, fair warning. This is a sad story. The game follows two separate narrations. One is the story of the fox looking for her family, and then the narrator talking about his own personal life story. So yeah, so when the narrator is going to be speaking, I'm just going to let him talk. And I know that when I was looking at OBS, let me just double check, because I know that the subtitles were also covered a little bit. But you know what? Some subtitles is better than no subtitles at all. So get your tissues ready.
She followed that path to something unexpected.
Oh no, one of her babies. Oh shit, yeah, so I added the fox scream sound effect. Yeah, hopefully that wasn't too loud. Cause I was like,
couldn't stay, though.
oh, I'll let him talk.
She had to find her other 2 children. So she took that path. She followed it towards something ancient. Something with answers.
Let me know if the fox scream was not too loud. That's what foxes sound like. That's what they sound like.
The fox looked high and low, searching for any sign of her cubs. Points of light showed the way to this ancient tree. It was as if each one had a story to tell, all their own. The land was trying to tell my story, too. I felt like I was right behind her the whole time.
So the themes around this game are centered around life and death, dealing with the feelings of loss, regret, and healing past all of that. I think that's something that a lot of mainstream games don't really typically base their whole gameplay around. And something interesting about the creator, like I mentioned, he made this game solo all by himself. He doesn't even know any coding. He used Unity, which is a game engine, and working while having a full-time job also on the side, and also raising his family. So it's kind of insane, like what you can do if you just put your mind to it. Let's see. I know there's a little spot right here. It's hard to trigger this one. Let's see. He used so I know the game also isn't like up to standards when it comes to animation or like the quality, but he used assets, just recoloring, doing what he could with applying just touches to make it unique. Oh, there we go.
He's kind of the manly man type, but one thing that still surprises me is his vase collection. Some guys collect shot glasses of all the different places they were stationed at, but my dad wanted jars and pots. I think underneath his rough appearance, he was gentle, and he admired craftsmanship above all else. He never talked about the places he was stationed at, but he loved talking about how unique each piece of pottery was.
He's talking about his father right now, the narrator. So the story is based on him reconnecting with his estranged father. Oh yeah, this game is super cute. Yeah, it's beautiful. For me, I like it. I know that some of the biggest gripes people had with this game is that apparently the graphics isn't good enough.
Did you ever do show and tell
But
in your
I think it
class?
is.
Yeah, I think I only did it once, when I was in the 4th grade. You know how my life was around then. I wanted to show my class what helped pass the time and distracted me, so I brought a dozen paper cranes I had made. I think I told everyone how badly I wanted to be a bird and fly, embarrassingly enough.
Don't be embarrassed. Every kid wants to fly. For me, it was another toy from my dad, a wooden boat. I remember guarding it so carefully in my hands as I walked into class. When I sat down, a group of boys immediately made fun of it. They asked which trash can I found it in, or why an ugly log was my favorite toy. When I got up, I didn't even want to tell them my dad had carved it. I said it was a joke gift my friends had given me.
Kids can be so cruel.
Some of them are. I shouldn't have let them get to me, but it did. It's amazing we bounced back at all.
So back to the creator of this. So he actually started out as a technical artist. And yeah, For me, I think the graphics are lovely, but like I mentioned, I feel like a lot of people who are only used to mainstream games don't really appreciate the charming quality of smaller indie games. And this was a one-man team. He put in about like 10 hours a week. That's as much time as he could squeeze in while juggling raising a family. He had like a baby and also having a full-time job at like another company. And it took him over a year to complete it. I absolutely love indie games. Some of my favorites are indie games. That's incredible. Yeah, so honestly, I find it incredibly inspiring. I watched like him doing a little presentation about his process with this game. And really, it was a passion project. He started out just doing it as a hobby. And as time passed on, it grew into something a lot bigger. And yet for me, I love indie games because I feel like they have a lot of heart and soul. And they're just so charming, I feel like. And again, the themes that they explore there's so many niche things that can be covered in a smaller game versus like a game that you can play for, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of hours that's meant to be mainstream. So you can find some pretty unique stories.
Usually those kids would leave me alone, but somehow they could tell I was different. They made fun of how far away I lived. They called my dad sourdough. I was a blabbermouth as a kid, telling my dad stories I made up for hours. But after that show and tell, I didn't tell him much anymore. He didn't know exactly what was wrong, but his best guess was that the toys he carved weren't cool enough. He carved me a tank and tried to tell me what it was like to be in a real tank as a serviceman.
I didn't know your dad was in the military.
Yeah, in the army. The sad thing is that I've pretty much forgotten until just now. There's so much I still don't know about him.
I'm sorry. He knows how much you love him. You're going to see him again soon and have some closure, I'm sure.
So something that the creator also covered a lot was how you can learn to advertise your story. And after this too, I'm gonna link the talk that he did while talking about creating this game, because I feel like it also applies to any sort of content creator and like how to get your stuff out there. Because the maximum budget he spent making this game was only $10,000. He only spent $10,000 creating this. Took about 18 months to make. And then he ended up profiting about $150,000. Oh no! Oh my god! Okay. Also, if I involuntarily scream, I don't mean to. Almost didn't get that second star though. That would have been fucking annoying. I'm a Chivo Hunter also on Steam, so I already got all of the achievements, but I do want to make sure I unlock all parts of the story. So even though this is like a walking simulator, you know, you can technically go to the end of the map without touching anything, but then you just like, you don't get any part of the narration, you don't get any part of the story out of that. Also, this game is, when I looked it up, this game is currently 90% off on Steam. Free advertisement right there for him. It's currently 90% off for the next 18 hours, I think. I also ended up purchasing it on sale. Something that I do is always like favorite things to my wish list, and then when the winter sale comes on and the summer sale comes on, I end up like mass purchasing like everything that's like severely discounted. So I don't think I've ever purchased a game. Oh, bunny rabbit. Also, there's like an Easter egg in this game where if you touch like all the bunny rabbits in this area, you get a fun surprise. I'm not gonna spoil it, and also it takes like, see how like it's so hard to catch these fuckers. It takes so long to get these rabbits. Yes, I have 13 perfect games, and I love it so much. It's like very similar to okay, honestly, before I get on a tangent though, so yeah, Easter egg, if you end up playing this game, chase all the bunny rabbits in this area. Once you touch them, they'll have like a little squeak. That's how you'll know that it registered, and then you'll see a fun surprise in the area where you came in. I won't spoil it. if you want spoilers, I do have screenshots under my Steam because I do like to take screenshots when I play games. I don't think I put like a spoiler filter on there though, so like watch at your what's it called, own warning or whatever. But yeah, perfect games. I love perfecting games. When they add achievements onto Steam. So what I usually like to do is technically this is my third time playing. When I play a game for the first time, I just play it blindly to get the full experience. Something I'm gonna have to like probably get over is like maybe streaming a game that I haven't tried at all for the first time while on stream. But I don't know, like I find it like so, I don't know, it's like something I like to do on my own where you just play something for the first time. Does that make sense? It's like a personal thing, you know, it's your own zen time, it's me time. You just want to relax and enjoy it all by yourself. Does that make sense? So I played it for the first time just blindly like I do most games. And then after I do that, I'll like look up to see what achievements are missing, and then I'll see how to get them, and then I will play a second time. I'll do a second time to get all the achievements on Steam. And I feel like that's better than looking up beforehand. So Sky, welcome on in. Sky, how are you?
The older I got, the more I withdrew. I asked myself, why talk to anybody anyway? Why bother when I'm happy by myself? I started drawing a lot, mostly animals I saw in the woods by my home. I then imagined designing my own hideouts with things like TVs and pantries full of chips and cookies. I think that idea of leaving home and drawing blueprints started my career. I found a lot of solace in that.
I'm not surprised, but I did the same thing, you know? There's something special about having a place to call your own.
And now look at us. Well, if you count renting in an overpriced city.
It's as close as we can get for now.
So I mentioned earlier, so when the narrator is speaking, I will just let them speak. I'm good, was looking for a stream to work out to, and I see you're on, saw you post on my Twitch channel. I was like, yay! Oh, I'm so glad that you can make it. Oh, bunny rabbits, see? Oh, they're too fast, they're so annoying to get, they're so annoying. So yeah, hidden Easter egg, if you play this game, you can look up where all the rabbits are in this area. Catching them takes forever. Definitely try it though, I think it's like worth it to see what the creator snuck in there. An interesting fact about the story too is, so that's the creator speaking. Since it is a one-man team, he is doing the narration. The story is based on his own life story, and that's also his wife. His wife also joined in, and they did all of the voice acting by themselves, which is pretty impressive. Oh, squeaking. So once you hear the squeak, I only touched one though. There's like 4 or 5 groups of rabbits in this area, but they're a bitch to catch. Yeah, it is amazing. Are you familiar with the original Easter egg? No, so I'm guessing like the terminology Easter egg comes from something, right? I have no idea what it's from. Griffo, hey, I'm doing fantastic. How are you, Griffo? Good morning if you just got up. Today we're just playing a nice chill game. This is one of the first few indie games that I ever played online. And I honestly, if you have like a friend or someone who hasn't really gotten into gaming, this is like a great recommendation, I think. Good to hear. Yeah, good to hear. So how are you? How are you, Griffo? Thanks for coming on in.
Do you remember what my dad did for a living?
Wasn't he like a lumberjack?
That's one way of putting it. If wood was a canvas, then a carving knife was his paintbrush. Even after working a 50-hour week, even after his hands were more splinters than skin, he would bring home the nicest piece of Alaskan weeping cedar and make me toys. That wooden train was the first toy I can remember, and I loved it. I just knew from a young age I was going to be a lumberjack, like my father.
It was in Adventure for the Atari 2600. It was a literal egg. Getting gave the credit for the game's creator because the company didn't put his name in the credits. It was an actual Easter egg though? And like, what was the function of the egg in the game? I'm okay, I'm having breakfast on the way. Oh, what are you getting for breakfast, Griffo? How's the game? So this isn't my first playthrough playing this. I was just mentioning earlier, I'm the type of person who loves to enjoy trying a new game as like me time, if that makes sense. Like to have the full experience without any distractions for myself. And then I played it a second time to get all of the achievements on Steam, because like I love doing that. And then this is the third time that I'm playing, but it's been a year and a half or so since the last time I played, so it's still a little fresh. So as you guys can see, there's like white orbs in the distance, so that indicates where all of the sparkles are, or I think they're called stars. I'm not sure. I don't remember. And then usually around those areas you can find relics or artifacts, which is the narration that you hear unfolding slowly. Yeah, I love this game. Like I mentioned, if you have anyone in your life who's never liked a game before, I feel like indie games are so underrated. Especially if you're not really into the mainstream media, like shooters, I don't know what they have, beat 'em ups. Like they're like pretty violent, I feel like. Whereas indie games, there's like a niche indie game for any sort of interest and any sort of talent or skill level. It is a cute game. Yeah, indie games are my fave. I have like so many favorited on my Steam too. Like so many, too many to even mention. One of my favorite channels, actually, and also group, I think they have a group on Steam. I think they're just called Cozy or Comfy Games. So close. And they like showcase small indie games, very similar to this. And that's actually where I ended up discovering this game. And all of the other ones that I played, actually. They're a curator who puts together indie games with comfy, cozy themes, and that's my favorite genre to play. So I feel like the strat for me will be to play through all the games that I've already tried out and I know that I love, and share them with you guys, and then hopefully you guys also end up enjoying them as well. Atari removed the names of game developers from their products as a means to prevent competitors from identifying and recruiting Atari's programmers. This was also used as a means to deny the developers a bargaining chip in any negotiation they may have with the management. Oh my god! And unknown to anyone else, Robinette embedded his name in his game in the form of a hidden and virtually inaccessible room. Oh my god! Oh, so that's the Easter egg. And also, I can't believe that they removed the names of the game developers. That's kind of shitty. That's kind of shit. So good on him. Good on him for sneaking his name in there, because I mean, they deserve credit. I love some comfy, cozy games. Yeah, that's my favorite genre. So like the opposite of horror games and stuff like that. Just games that you can relax and unwind to, and sometimes it's nice to just, I don't know, just chill, you know? I mean, as much as I love games like Beat Saber or Fortnite or what have you, this is my favorite genre. And I feel like going forward, I will definitely be playing more of these. I know that there's other stars in this area, but I want to be super careful, because I remember too, like if you get too close to the edge of the map, I don't remember where the exact end is, but if you get to the edge, it just triggers the next chapter. So I need to be super careful without getting too far out of bounds. I have been playing Harvestella. It's been super chill. Ooh, is that like a farming sim, Griffo? I love farming games. Like the OG farming game that I used to be into when I was younger was Harvest Moon. It's called something else now though, isn't it? Because the name Harvest Moon was sold off or taken by another company. Story of Seasons. It's called Story of Seasons now. And they're still doing some great work. They're actually re-releasing Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life, as I think Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life now, but it's going to be coming out on the Switch this year, I'm pretty sure. So is it like that? Yeah, it's like a cross between Harvest Moon, Final Fantasy, Stardew. Holy shit, wait, a cross between Harvest Moon and Final Fantasy? What the heck? I'm gonna have to look this up. That sounds like a lot of content, Griffo. Yeah, usually the farming sims that I like to play are very simple. But is that new? Because I don't think I heard of it. Plus, there's like a new farming sim that comes out like every year or so. There's like a few too that I've like wish listed on Steam. But it's so hard to like find time to like allocate time to play everything. Yeah, there's a lot of quests and story behind it. I like games like that though. If it's like relaxing, the chill, if it's chill, I don't mind like a lot of quests and things like that. Okay, let's see. I think I do not see any more glowy stars except the one in the distance, which I'm pretty sure will be the last one for this level. It's newish, yeah. It's Square Enix. It's so relaxing. Ooh, I think Square Enix also came out, or like it got partnered with like Dress Up Nikki, and Dress Up Nikki has its own fucking Final Fantasy game now. If that rings a bell, you guys have probably seen like ads for it on like I don't know, YouTube ads or whatever, like Dress Up Nikki. I guess that game, it was like an app or mobile game. It got so popular that it has like its own full-blown like MMORPG. I think they either paired with like Square Enix or something like that. If you look up the trailer for it, it's insane, you guys. It's insane. But typically, I do enjoy like games that have a shorter playtime. So I think that the playtime for this game is about 2 hours, depending on like how much of the achievements you end up collecting, or like what you want to finish on each level. It's about 2 hours. So I feel like if I'm lucky, I might be able to finish this game tonight, unless I'm like super slow or end up talking a lot. I'm already addicted. Yeah, I'm the same way. If I start a game, and I really enjoy it, I become hyper-focused, Griffo, until I completely finish it. Like, I don't know if anyone else here is like that, but I like to have my full attention on something from beginning to end, so I also don't forget, like, where I'm at. Like, the worst that can happen is, like, if I'm into something and then I put it down for, like, a day or two, and then my hyper focus disappears, and then I just don't pick it up for months or years or whatever. Yeah, I feel that. So that's another thing that I really like about indie games, is just being able to finish them within a night or two. Sorry, couldn't use my hands to type sooner, but I totally have been really into chill and cozy games recently. Playing Unpacking was so nice. It was too short though. Oh yeah, that was so nice, Sky. That was like honestly the nicest, chillest stream that we did the other day. So did you finish the rest of the game then, Sky? How was it? How was the rest of the levels? Because like we completed level 1 right before he went to college, I guess. Because in the beginning they're like a younger child, I guess, like moving in with their family. And then the next level that we didn't show on stream was okay, you know what? I don't need that star. I already did the Chivo. I did the Chivo hunting already. The stars do not, from my knowledge, the stars don't unlock anything. I do not have any memory of that. I think they just lead you to areas where you dig up pieces of artifacts that trigger the narration, and I think that's like their own purpose. And then the rest of it is just achievement hunting and making sure you collect all of them. Has anyone ever played Color a Dinosaur? No. Jay, is that new? That was literally Breath of the Wild for me. Yeah, I don't own a Breath of the Wild, Griffo, but I have played it like a friend's copy, and the only thing I did was cook. All I did was make a million meals. I like collected a few things, and then I just made him make a million meals. But yeah, Sky, I'm so glad that you also enjoyed Unpacking. Cozy chill games are definitely, they're my favorite genre. Themes can vary, but my favorite is definitely when they have a lot of nature in it, or you get to be an animal. So like in this one is like a fox walking simulator, right? I did, yeah, it was super short. The girl went to college, lived with her boyfriend, broke up with them, and then married to a woman and had a baby. What the fuck? That's a full-blown narration. I think it was about a girl coming to terms with being lesbian. Oh, okay, yeah, no, I had no idea, like, if the main character, like, I don't even know what their gender was. It was very cute, though. Yeah, it sounds cute. Want them to make more unpacking games. Oh, Sky, there's a few like that, actually. I mentioned before that one of my favorite channels is called Comfy Games or Cozy Games, something like that. Or Wholesome Games. The channel name is literally just Wholesome Games or Wholesome Gaming. And they constantly feature indie games just like this, and there's a few that are in that sort of genre where you're unpacking things. There's another one that's like a puzzle game where you are rearranging things, but you're unpacking them as you're rearranging them and then finding the perfect order. Oh, let's see this. Oh, so I think the butterflies give you double jump. I think that's what they're for. Let's try. But again, I already did the sparkle achievement, so I don't necessarily have to get all of them, but I could try. But that's what the butterflies do. That's really old. The game is really a coloring book on Nintendo. Oh, well, when I was a child, I liked coloring books. There's like another one too. Screw the star. There's another one that's like a multiplayer game, or it's like a co-op game. It's like two people. There's a dog. The dog is the main character. If any of this rings a bell, someone comment the name. And the dog paints the scenery as the narration progresses. And it's a new game. It came out last year or 2 years ago. Indie game. The partner, I think, is a deer. It starts out black and white, and as the game progresses, the game becomes more and more colored in. So that might be something that you enjoy, Jay. Cooking is fun. I need to put unpacking on my wish list. Yeah, and also, so this game, you guys, is 90% off right now on Steam. So if this is something that you think you might be into, it is currently on sale. 90% off,
I was
guys.
working another late night, and my friends were over, saying how bored they were and how they had come all the way out to my house for nothing. One of them mentioned how that old, ugly beyond belief truck was still in the garage, and how we should take it for a spin. I was only 15, so I kind of fought it for a while. The next thing I knew, we were careening around the mountain path, rocks spitting onto the sides of the cliff, while my dad's cringeworthy bluegrass blared out the speakers. I drove while my friends were in the back of that yellow and purple truck, throwing beer bottles and trash at anything remotely interesting. Felt like I was soaring in the air with borrowed wings. But all good things have endings. A cop outside of Eagle River pulled us over after he saw us in a bottle rocket into someone's yard. What followed was a long night of talking to disappointed adults and feeling smaller than ever.
Jing! Hi, Jing! Welcome on in! How are you? Thanks so much for coming on in. So I mentioned before, so when there's narration, I will just let the narrator speak, and I'll be quiet, because I do want you guys to listen to the story. And the story is the creator's personal story, so it's a true story. He's talking about his own life, his own memories, his own family. He's the one who's actually speaking. This game was created by one person, working another full-time job and raising a family. This was very much a passion project. So even though it is scuffed around the edges, like as you can see, it is scuffed around the edges, but this was very much just like a passion project that one man did by himself over the course of a year. It looks so cute, like you take pics of wildlife. Oh, I just got gifted Alba, a wildlife adventure, and I'm so excited to try it. Oh, Griffo, I also have that game. It was free on Epic Games or something. There was like another game platform that it was released on, and it was like free. There was like a promo day or something, and so I grabbed it there. But I did wishlist it on Steam too. just in case, like, depending on if I want to get the achievements or not. But that's another one. That's a good one, Griffo. That's another one that's on my wish list, or on my list to play at least. Fuck that star. Whatever, man. I don't need it. I'm not gonna do it. I already did the achievements. But yeah, so wait, you take pictures, right? In the Alba Wildlife Adventure. And I think the theme for that one is like saving the nature or something. Like documenting it and like showing that it's worth to be protected.
My teenage years were full of sketching, angst, and trouble. I wasn't popular or unpopular. Maybe just forgettable. I guess that gave me a sense of freedom. So I hung out with crazy kids, doing crazy things, even though I mostly just watched the chaos ensue. We did it all. Put fireworks in mailboxes, hide roadkill in people's garages, break windows of the barber shop in Anchorage. My dad was furious, but he was so busy working he couldn't do much to stop me from going out.
I think being an adult means there's no one to stop you making hard decisions. He had to make a living, and he couldn't be in two places at once.
Yeah, I realize that now. But at the time, I was sure he was more interested in growing his business than what was going on with me.
So the story is a little bittersweet. You know, it's time to get a little bit into, you know, be melancholy and everything. But I think that's something that everyone at some point in their life has to deal with too, with, you know, feelings of, you know, personal estrangement from family or dealing with your own family problems, and learning how to process and deal with those emotions. When there is narration, Yuchu will sit quiet to listen. She'll read the chat right after. Actually, Sky, can you pin that? Just because I don't want to make any mods constantly having to type if they don't need to or don't want to. So if you could pin that, or if a chat or if another mod could pin that, that would be fantastic. Thank you so much, Sky. Thank you so much. Whoa, what a chill stream. Pixel, hi, welcome on in. How are you? Yeah, this game is super chill. We were just having a discussion about how so many indie games have like niche, what's it called? Subject matter or themes, stories that you typically don't find in mainstream releases, which I really like. The creator for this game too was a one-man team, which is very impressive. So one thing that people could complain about this game is, you know, saying that the graphics aren't good enough, but one man did this by himself, all alone, over the course of a year. He used both stock music, both what's so called, models, like the fox, the trees and everything, doing minor tweaks to make them, you know, personalized for the game. But he did what he could do, you know. And I think that's really impressive, and that's one of the reasons why I really like this game. Hello, just got home from work. How was work, Pixel? Thanks for coming on in. I hope you do enjoy the stream also. I did pin it already. Okay, awesome. Okay, yes, I see it. But also suggested making it a command if you want, so you or mod can easily use it in chat. No, so I have my hands on a controller, so I prefer not to have to type, because this mic that I have is also so sensitive that if I end up, excuse me, if I end up typing, you're gonna hear the click clacking, and I would much rather prefer people being able to sit back and relax as I'm playing. So pinning it is perfect. Thank you so much for pinning it, and also for the suggestion. Thank you so much, Sky. Thank you so much. But look how beautiful this is. One dude did this. He had no coding experience. This was just all made in Unity. And what other, what's it called? Game engines there are. I forgot the names of the other ones. Love you, Sky. Thank you so much. And I hope this is good background audio for you while you're working out. The soundtrack too, like you know what's so funny too is like the music is like, if I didn't know that he ended up using like stock music and stock graphics and all of that stock models, I would have not even guessed that none of this was like original. Fuck that star. I'm not gonna fuck that star. Honestly, okay, again for the millionth time, I've already done the achievements. Oh, here's one anyways underneath. There you go. Bam. The stars don't do anything. They just lead you to pieces of narration. And then just getting a trophy on Steam. It has been. Yay, I'm glad you're enjoying it. But yeah, also, yeah, so I don't know if you were here, but this game is 90% off on Steam too. Which is amazing. That's a crazy discount.
After he drove me home from the police station, I blew up at him, saying how I never wanted to be like him, how I was gonna be someone and leave that hick icebox for good. He just looked forward at the road with tired eyes. I took out that bluegrass tape from the cassette deck and chucked it out the window. In my sage teenage wisdom, I thought I proved the ultimate point. But my dad had a different idea. He slammed the brakes, slowly bowed his head while gripping the steering wheel, and finally looked at me. All he said, like it was a polite request, was, "Make this right." I sat there in silence, fuming, but I eventually got out and combed every square inch of the woods, muttering profanity after profanity. I found it 30 minutes later, near a small waterfall off the road. I went back to the truck, put the wet tape back in, and sure enough it worked. We didn't speak another word to each other the rest of the night.
Wow, I knew you were a crazy teenager, but...
It's hard to believe, isn't it? It surprises me too. It's like I didn't really know who that kid was back then. I bet my dad thought the same thing over and over. It's almost like he was saying, "Make this right," to himself, more than to me.
Ooh, that's a good piece of narration right there. Something that we don't really think about when we're younger is that our parents are just people too, you know? And, you know, if they're not outright a really bad or evil person, parents just try their best with you, you know? And everybody makes mistakes. And if anyone is following along the story too, that he's talking about his regrets as a child and like taking things out on his dad, and like realizing like in retrospect that he was just learning and making mistakes too, which you just don't realize until sometimes it's too late, you know. Also, I think there are sparkles on that. There's like a cliff on the side. Oh, I think I need double butterflies. There we go. Because I was like, why wasn't that high enough? I'm pretty sure that there's sparkles up here. I think. I'm not sure. This is deep. Yes. So, I mean, but here's the thing. I think it's so important to address these sort of themes and these topics because school doesn't really do that. If you don't have like a close, intimate friend group, your friends won't do that. And then what ends up happening is a lot of people end up with having unprocessed feelings and emotions, and not having a way to, you know, process them. So games like this are a great release. So it ends up being therapeutic, not just for the creator who made this, but also for the player. And when I played this game the first time, like I cried, you guys. At the end, I literally was crying. It was so emotional. Oh wait, I don't think I need butterflies for this. So I know I need the double butterflies to get out of here, but yeah, I know it's a sad story, you guys, but I think games like this are important for the reasons that I just said. We do not have a lot, unless you're incredibly lucky, we don't have many opportunities to really embrace and talk about these sort of themes. I'm sure some of us, if not all of us, have dealt with death in our own lives. And unfortunately...
My friends would laugh about that night.
I'll let him
talk
speak.
about how crazy it was. And I laughed along, pretending it didn't bother me. But it did. I imagined my friends growing old in the bush and able to find that thrill in those godforsaken ice fields. It's like those mountains were a literal wall keeping me from leaving, where all I would have to look forward to are lumber yards and evening beers. I had to climb over. That was my only goal for a long time.
Okay, I think there's a piece of narration right here. Some of them are
I
hidden.
miss that time in life when you didn't have to wear the right clothes or like the right things in school. I miss when every kid in class liked what was important to them, even if it was wooden boats or cartoon animal notebooks.
Ooh, that's another good piece of narration where if you just start carrying oh shit, I need 3 butterflies. I have 2. Okay, wait, where was the third one? Oh, the third one was on the fucking rock. Okay, so the narration, so he's talking about too how, you know, when you're young, you don't really start thinking about what other people think of you until a certain age. And then we spend a really long time unlearning that behavior. It probably has something to do with the fact that we're social animals and we want to be, you know, accepted by the pack. But that's just something that you have to end up unlearning as an adult. And even for myself too, I would say like my early 20s for a lot of people is a very anxious time. Wanting to be liked or fitting in with a certain group. Also, what the fuck, did I get the third butterfly? I think I did. I didn't hear a twinkle. Wait a minute. Did I have a third one? Wait a minute, where is it? Okay, no, I think I got it. I got it, just did not do a twinkle. I think I have all 3 now. I think I have all 3. So unlearning people-pleasing is something that everyone needs to end up learning or self-teaching. And there's one of my favorite sayings is being cringe, but you're free. And that is so true. You're going to end up so much happier if you just end up doing things that make you happy. Even this, I know that a lot of you might not watch these sort of games in the community or online, like on Twitch. But even though it might not be something that you're familiar with, I figured it might, there's no harm in trying it out, and other people might be a fan of this game too. Also, so let's see. Okay, so 3 butterflies and double jump. Okay, don't fuck this up. Bam, let's go. That would have been so annoying if I missed that jump. Luckily, I do not need that star. I do not need that star. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that's the last of this level. Pretty sure that's the last of this one. But yeah, back to the themes of dealing with personal grief. Dealing with personal grief is everyone is gonna have to end up dealing with in their adult life. Well, I like when people play whatever they like and are passionate about. Yeah, me too. Me too, because I feel like that's a great way of preventing burnout too, is if you actually enjoy what you're playing.
If there was some way I could take my love of drawing and turn it into a way of escape, nothing would make me happier. I wanted to create instead of tearing trees down. I wanted to move to the lower 48, not because I hated it there in Alaska, but I hated the idea of it. It's like all of that spite inside me had created this monster which followed me around my whole teenage years. I put so much energy into doing what others didn't expect of me. Why did I do that?
There's one fact you're forgetting, though. If you didn't have that fire in you, we probably would have never met.
You're absolutely right. Maybe the destination is all that matters in the end. But then why am I awake? Why am I seeing this fox go on her journey?
Okay, well then luckily I have subtitles on. Okay, so that's another thing too. So when you get to the edge of the map, it does trigger the next scene. So maybe I need to just calm down and stop running. But that's a good... Okay, so the narration right there too is talking about how I feel this personally too, that the question of what if from not doing things that you want to do is a lot worse than facing the fears you have when it comes to trying out new things. So he doesn't want to follow the life that his father wants him to follow out in Alaska. He wants to move out of Alaska. And luckily he did, because he ended up meeting his wife and creating the life that he has now for himself, and then ending up making this game, you know? And had he not done that, who knows what would have happened, you know? So definitely, I think the bigger regret in life is just not doing things that you've always wanted to do because you're scared. It's better to face those fears head on, even if you are anxious, rather than dealing with that regret of not having tried at all. Which is, again, is just something that a lot of people have to come to terms with themselves. I don't think it's something that can be taught. I don't think it's something that can be forced on anyone. Yeah, no regrets. Unironically though, Pixel, like, not to be funny, but yeah, like, no regrets. Trying something out, even if you're scared or anxious, you're gonna be happier knowing that you tried and failed than not trying at all, in my personal opinion. There's just something sad about, like, letting your life pass you by without, you know, accomplishing anything that you've wanted to accomplish, letting your dreams slide, you know, to make other people happy. People pleasing is definitely something a lot of people have to unlearn. Also, I feel like so I know that there's hidden spots, but sometimes they're not marked. So for the achievements, when I was doing them, I had to use a few guides. They're not too important, but it is nice if I can find them. Do you know about the hidden ending in this game? Yes, I do. I know about it because I wanted to complete all of the achievements. So if you want to get the hidden ending and also the regular ending, you do have to play through twice. So my first playthrough for this game, I played blind. That's how I usually like to do gaming. I just like to try it out for the first time, enjoy it for myself, by myself, alone time, me time. And then after I'm done, I see what achievements I have missing, and that usually leads to unlocking special endings like the one that you mentioned. So I did unlock it. I won't mention it, no spoilers, in case anyone here ends up becoming interested in the game. Just because it is an alternate ending, you do have to do something a little different at the end to unlock it. And apparently, that was like an Easter egg, or just like, it was super secret. The creator didn't talk about it at all. And then someone, like a random Redditor, ended up discovering the secret ending like months and months and months after the release of this game. That's how well hidden it was. Like, you ended up having to, like, explore the world, like, a little off the grid, which, if you're not, like, that type of person, you would completely miss it. There are few ghosts as terrible as what ifs and could have beens. Yes. Oh, and that's kind of similar to that quote. I feel like to love and loss is better to not have loved at all. And I agree with that saying. You know, as much as heartbreak hurts, I feel like, you know, knowing and experiencing what love feels like, even though you deal with the pain of losing it, is better than not having experienced it at all, right? Because you know what it feels like. You've been there, right? And I feel like that's just like a part of life that everyone has to go through too. Is like eventually losing somebody. But it helps you grow as a person. You mature as a person emotionally. And the mistakes that you made the first time, hopefully you won't make the second time around. So I do think it's an important learning experience. Okay, wait, three of these. What do I have to do here? Do I have to jump? Okay, wait, I have to unlock something here. There we go. Okay, so one, and there's two more. And I'm pretty sure that is a part of the narration, so I do have to do that. But yeah, I don't know, does anyone disagree with that statement? To love and like, love and like, fuck, I can't even speak right now. to have like loved and lost is better to have not loved at all, because like I agree with that sentiment. But I know that not a lot of people have the ability to deal with that, or it was just so painful they wish they had not gone through it. But for me personally, I feel like it is an important learning and growing experience for yourself as a human being, because like humans too, like we're so unique in the fact that we even experience that emotion, right? Because like of course sure, like there's animals that do bond for life, but we can actually articulate in words what love feels like, which is very special. I think in the objective, greater scheme of things, it's a true statement, but in the emotions of recent loss, it's very, very little consolation. Yes, so this game too makes you face those feelings. Of course, nobody likes the feeling of loss or regret, or pain, feeling broken. None of that is fun. No one likes it. But it is a part of life, and I know this sounds so cliche, but time does heal all. Eventually, Pixel and anyone else listening, if you are dealing with loss at the moment, I promise you there is going to be a day where you wake up and suddenly the weight is starting to feel just a little bit lighter. You might not even notice it yourself at first, but slowly, over time, little by little, baby steps, you're not going to feel the same way you do right now. And that's a guarantee. And you can't rush it. I think it's incredibly important to let yourself feel, as Sky says, yes, without pain and sadness, we do not know happiness exists, yes. And I think it is so incredibly important to allow yourself to feel your pain. I feel like it's incredibly important to acknowledge that you're sad, and that you're experiencing sorrow. I think a mistake that people make is pretending that you're fine when you're not fine. That just delays the healing process. A lot.
On our property, there were old abandoned pieces of a shed and car long left unused. I used to ask him all the time who those people were that left all this junk, and I'm sure he got so tired of hearing it that he made up some elaborate stories how a brown bear ate them and haunted the woods afterwards. What's funny is I think it made those people seem more real, growing up thinking they were still hanging out like they couldn't say goodbye. I used to tell my friends how I could swear I saw spirits move near the water, and that always freaked them out. I guess it didn't bother me, because the way I saw it, they were normal people with old cars and sheds, just trying to figure out how to survive and be happy in the middle of nowhere. It was a cool thought that they didn't want to leave, but you know, I was a weird kid.
Well, you had good company since those ghosts like living in a place where they were brutally devoured.
I keep those I lost with me every day, but the pain subsides and turns into something else. A part of me that made me who I am. I couldn't be me without all of those I met. Hard to explain. No, you explained it eloquently, Sky. It does become a part of who you are, and I think, again, it helps you transform as a person. I don't believe anyone stays the same, be it a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. By the end of your life, you're going to have some battle scars, not just physically, but emotionally. But it does become a part of who you are, and it helps you grow as a person. It makes sense. Violence and loss were a big part of my childhood. The fading is rarely linear, but with time, it does fade. Yeah, and that's something that I've had to deal with too. Like, I mean, I had a turbulent childhood. I was definitely not lucky in the draw when it came to having a normal, stable family. But it made me who I am today, and I truly believe that if you take it as like a learning experience, because it can go one of several ways, you know. You could be resentful and bitter and never let things go. You know, you hold on to the memory of things like in a vice grip, but then it ends up poisoning you as a person. You know, you become a very angry person. You do not evolve. And I'm sure I mean, personally too, like I know people like that where, you know, the types who blame life for everything, you know, they're, you know, you just become depressed. And that's not a very healthy outlet. That is no outlet, actually. Not letting yourself process those feelings and looking at them objectively, because ultimately we do have to look at them from another point of view if you want to be able to move past it. Because if you don't, you really end up hurting yourself and the people around you if you do that. I had that kind of childhood too. I understand. I'm very sorry. Yes, I understand too, Pixel. I really do. You're not in control always of what happens to you, but you are in control of your actions and how you choose to learn from experience. Yes, precisely, Sky. Same here, you know, because like I truly could have ended up as a bitter, resentful person, you know, who just ended up depressed, right? And there are people like that, unfortunately. And I'm lucky enough that even though, you know, my actual family isn't that great, you can have chosen family, you know, through friendship. And I've been very blessed to have amazing friendships that they're like my chosen family, and that includes you, Sky, and Berto, and my other friends too, who aren't online. But thankfully, I created and cultivated my own community, and having community and people around you who love you is so important. Because if you don't, you end up isolating yourself, and you, like I mentioned earlier on, you can't process those feelings alone a lot of the time. You need to have like a secondary source or another person to help you get those feelings out. Yes, for what it's worth, I think you both turned out great. Oh, thank you, Pixel. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That means a lot.
My dad built a lot of stuff in his free time. If he wasn't watching fly fishing or reading Tom Clancy novels, he was carving something. He made tons of birdhouses. Not that he was into bird watching, but I think he really missed working and adding on to the home. If he couldn't afford the time to build onto our own house, he would have to settle with watching birds move into their little homes. We kept an old mattress in the bed of that ugly yellow truck, so we would drive it deep into the woods and then watch the birds fly into their houses while the sun set. Usually it was accompanied by venison jerky or a cold Coke, but not a lot of talking, which is how we both liked it.
Just recently, too, when I was hanging out at Sky's and Berto's, we watched this movie called Everything Everywhere All at Once. And there's a character in that film, without too many spoilers, he is a very kind-hearted man. There's a quote that really stuck out to me, was that he uses kindness as his form of fighting. And him being kind and treating others with kindness isn't a form of being naive. It's a necessity for him. And that really struck with me because that's something that I believe in and implement in my own life too. And you know what ends up happening is that because you end up treating people with kindness and love and open arms, you end up surrounding yourself with people who also love you and show you kindness and, you know, greet you with open arms. So, you know, what comes around goes around, truly.
Even at my most distant, at the times when I detested him the most, he kept reaching out. For a year straight, he asked me every week when we were going camping. I thought he was just dense. Eventually, to shut him up, I agreed. We carried out the worn lawn chairs from the garage and set up a cinder block campfire at the site we'd always used behind the house. We walked down the mountain path, talking in the warm sunshine we only got a couple months of the year. Those 3 obsidian rocks shimmered alongside the shore, almost like sparklers pressed against a dark window. I'll never forget that wet stone on my feet, or how those massive mountains looked even bigger in the lake's reflection. I felt small, but grateful. As the sun set, my dad found something I hadn't seen for a long time. The tree where I'd made my first carving when I was 6. I hadn't even carved it. My dad had helped me, but I still called it my tree. Something about seeing my name there made me open up, and we talked about everything that night in that old camouflage tent. I told him how much I loved sketching and design, and how it would be a dream to study architecture in Seattle. I told him how I didn't get along with my friends much anymore, but that I didn't mind being alone. He told me he was there for me, and he joked that if all he had to do was write my name on a tree to finally get me to talk, he would have left me carved logs with novels on them in front of my room every morning. I don't know why it took me that long to realize it, but it was then I knew how much he had sacrificed for me.
Oh, your laptop died? I'm glad that you're back. I'm glad that you're back. I guess the battery, you didn't charge it beforehand. I think I posted that quote to the meme channel on the Discord. Yeah, it's on. You know, funny enough, Pixel is like, I saw that quote like ages when that movie came out, and I didn't even realize where it was from. But when I read it the first time, it like resonated with me, and I ended up retweeting it. So like to see like it came from that movie was like an amazing experience. It's definitely such a good movie. You know, funny enough, the themes that they cover in that film are very similar to this one too, dealing with the theme of family. We all make mistakes. I mean, our parents are just people too, and you know, unfortunately, sometimes people do make mistakes when it comes to their kids, and you don't end up resolving those mistakes until, you know, many years later, and sometimes not at all, unfortunately. But I mean, we're all human, and unless someone is like truly evil, you know, like, I don't know, tying you up in chains or something, but like, you know, I guess it's just important to realize that we're all human at the end of the day. We're all doing things, you know, the best that we can, hopefully. And even if you hold some form of resentment towards your parents, using, you know, looking at things objectively will ease that pain for you. If you've ever been hurt by any, you know, your parents or family or friends or whatever. And, you know, forgiveness is not so much for them. It really is for you, because, if you hold on to those feelings, it does end up hurting you. It does end up hurting you. And I have the belief too that, I mean, I think it's okay to hate people too, if it helps you move on. As long as you don't hold grudges where you are actively ruminating about them or the situation every day. But if you walk away from a situation knowing that you did the best that you could do, and, you know, you tell yourself, like, I forgive myself for making these mistakes or letting these things slide, or I forgive them for, you know, inflicting this pain or damage onto me, and you walk away from that and, you know, dust yourself off, and, you know, that you end up allowing yourself to move past it. You allow yourself to move past it. And kindness too, I feel like, unless someone has had to deal with the opposite of that, you know, dealing with the complete opposite of kindness, it can be difficult to be a kind person. Which again is just like, as long as you take things as a learning experience, and allow it to help you grow as a person, you won't end up walking away with nothing, no scars. And also, is that light coming up from the top of there? I don't know. I know that I have like one more rock, but I think I already got that rock. I don't know why that's still glowing. I think I already got it, but I might have to double check. I'm not sure. Hate, though, is such a strong word, and I truly feel poison a person feeds themselves. Yeah, I prefer to accept they are horrible and deal with healing from what they've done to me, but then who they are to me is nothingness. Yes. So important note is, again, grudges, holding on to feelings, you know, as in they are constantly present in your life, is definitely not the way. That's it will end up hurting you. You will end up you know, cultivating angry feelings, and they become a part of who you are. But I don't think that you have to say, you know, like, oh, like, I love you even though you did blah blah blah. I think it's okay to say, no, like, I hate you and I don't want you to be a part of my life anymore, and that's that, and you forget about their existence. I think as long as it helps you forget that person, it's fine, as long as it's not actively, you know, at the back of your mind 24/7, because then that turns into something completely different. Okay, so I did get this rock. This rock is white. So I think that, okay, so there's one more light right there. And I think I got that one. And then there's a third rock. I think there's definitely a third rock. I think from what I remember, there's like a side wall along the border that's sort of hidden away. So I might have to walk along the perimeter, because I do think that there's something on the side. I do think there's something on the side. But yeah, I know that this game too, and the narration does deal with some heavy things, and if it makes you feel something, I actually think that's a good thing. Allowing yourself to feel maybe emotions that you typically don't want to embrace, just because they do hurt. But processing hurt is just something that you also have to learn. It's a learned skill. And it's just so crazy to me too how like these sort of themes and topics aren't covered in school at all. You know, like you learn how to do mathematical equations. Well, not me. I barely passed math. I like passed math with a 50%, you guys. But you know, the topic of mental health is always so flaunted online in media and in advertisements, like it's so important. But really in society, we don't really do much to facilitate that. You know, it's very much on people's own families to do that. And unfortunately, not everyone has a great family, or, you know, a group of friends, or like an outlet or source or support group that helps them cultivate and process that part of them as people, you know, emotionally and spiritually too. Like I feel like for me, when it comes to spirituality, it's like looking inward and really looking at yourself as a person. Because a lot of us, and I'm speaking from personal experience, is like looking at yourself, like truly looking at yourself and acknowledging, I mean, who you are as a person, and seeing if things need to be changed is very difficult. Because it can be an uncomfortable process. Like I said, they're not the best feelings to have, but I feel like it's so necessary. It's so necessary to be introspective. It truly is. It took a very long time to find the family I did, and I'm so lucky to have them now. Me too. Luckily enough, like for me, growing up too, because knowing now that I have like ADHD, I like in school I was very shy growing up, but it never really bothered me if I was like alone or whatever during recess, because I was always like in my own head, in my own imagination. So I really didn't even notice the world around me up until maybe middle school, when I started making lifelong friends, and my found family started there. And I know people that I met in middle school even today, because the connection that we had was so special that we've just continued to cultivate it throughout the years. And not taking those around you for granted is so important. If they're truly good people to have around and you're on the same wavelength. So in that, I've been incredibly blessed, and, knowing it or not at the time, like I have surrounded myself with a found family. And thanks to that, I feel like it's helped me become like, so like I could have ended up completely differently. Let's just say like I definitely could have ended up on the opposite side of the spectrum where, you know, if you end up isolated and alone in like a bad situation, you know, which does happen to a lot of people, the ending for that usually is like, you know, depression or like untreated, you know, like anxiety, loneliness. Something that I've been lucky too is like I love being alone because of that. Oh, here's the hidden nook, by the way. Here's the hidden nook. Like even from a young age, I've always loved being alone. And ADHD definitely had something to do with that too, or like being neurodivergent, I guess. Like always up in my own imagination and just, you know, playing make believe or whatever, or what have you, or investing my time in my hobbies. I've been very lucky not to feel those feelings. And then again, like with my friends too, having genuine, kind-hearted people around you truly, you guys, transforms your life. It really does. And so I can understand too, like when we're talking about these themes, that dealing with these things alone is incredibly difficult. And I'm just lucky enough to have people in my life where I had some form of support, you know, pillars of support through friendship and found family. Because not having that, you end up in a really bad mental situation for sure. Also, like, I truly hope this isn't like a depressing stream. I hope that this is like not making anyone like sad or anything. I don't know. I think it's important to talk about these things. Sure, it's fun to to play games to get your mind off of things, but sometimes getting your mind onto things is also equally important. Oh shit, I think this is the last rock. Let's go. See, it is a little janky. It is a little janky to get it. How did I get this last time? It's definitely this one though. I did not get this before. There we go. Oh, yes. Okay, so now I hear there's like a thorn branch growth that was like near the exit. And that's what that was for. That's what that was for. Oh, shoot. I should have brought myself a straw. Let me take a sippy. Man, Sky, I really do that thing where I'm just like after taking like a refreshing drink or a refreshing sip. And you know what's so funny is like I never even realized that I did that. I never even realized. But that's so funny as like a reflex, just doing that. Okay, now I'm pretty sure that's everything on this level. I'm pretty sure that's everything on this level. I hope everyone's feeling okay anyways. I really hope I'm not making anybody sad. Oh shit, did I miss something there? I see like a glowy light. I think I might have missed a piece of narration. But yeah, this was hidden away just like a little bit. I remember too, like, I know that they said that you could finish this in 2 hours, but this spot is like easily missable. Spot's easily missable. And collecting the stars can be a little bit of a pain. Oh yeah, there might be a bit of narration. Yep, I think that's the last piece of narration. And for anyone else in here who missed the beginning, this narration is the creator's own personal story. It's a true story. It's him doing self-reflection. And creating this game was his way of also processing his own emotions, which I think is incredibly beautiful. Using, your passion and your artwork to help you release those kinds of feelings.
We were happiest underneath the evergreens. We decided it was time to finally map out the hundreds of acres we lived on just to pass the time during the summer. He was only free in the evenings, so I would spend the day wasting time on dial-up internet and sketching, and then we would rush into the woods, pen and map in hand, before evening fell. Sometimes, the aurora borealis would cast a cold green glow on the mountainside, and we would finish our route underneath a twilight sky. Sometimes I was lonely during those summer days, but there was comfort in the routine.
A lot of teenagers aren't looking for the daily grind, though. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get out, to leave your childhood home. You wanted to progress, to make something of yourself.
Yeah, you're right. That house. I'm sure it's the same as how I left it. Then why does it feel so different?
I doubt you're the only adult to have looked back and asked that question.
I would love to visit Alaska when he's talking about the Northern Lights. That would definitely be on my bucket list. I like them. I like how they talk about like swaths of time, like when you're, growing up, just feel like a completely different world. And I wonder if there's even like a word for it, that sensation of it, being another time and another place and just like another universe, when you're younger, growing up, and then, thinking back on it in your memories as an adult, and that sensation that you feel, reminiscing about the past. It's just such a weird feeling. There probably is like a word. Oh wait, is it just melancholy? No, melancholy is the feeling of being sad and pensive. So maybe if you're incredibly pensive. The Aurora Borealis Northern Lights were apparently much stronger this year due to a rare solar flare. Oh yeah, like I actually don't even know what causes the Northern Lights. Like, do you know, Pixel? Like, what actually causes that phenomenon of like the Northern Lights? Like, are they just like a reflection, like off of the ice, or? Because, like, honestly, I've never really thought about it. I've never really thought about like what the Northern Lights are. But they are ethereal. And then also, speaking of solar flares, I saw like oh shit. Okay, actually, I'm gonna shut up because this is an important part of narration. Look, it's a wolf, you
The
guys.
perpetrator stood nearby, unfazed, like nothing was wrong. My dad is dead, and he's never coming back, Rachel. I can tell you these stories, but I can never reminisce with him again. He can never hold a grandchild that we'll probably never be able to have. I can never talk to him again, and I'll never be able to say I'm sorry for everything.
Death is definitely not something anyone wants to deal with, but we have to accept the fact that with life, death does come with it, but that's what ends up making life so special and precious, and holding on to those memories. Can we just sink in like this scenery? This was one of my favorite spots, and also one of my favorite songs. Like the music, like no joke, this music made me cry, like just listening to it, and after all of the narration too. Auroras are the result of disturbance in the magnetosphere caused by solar wind. Major disturbances result from enhancements in the speed of the solar wind from coronal holes and coronal mass ejections. Dude, Pixel, I read that, but I understood like none of it. I read that, but I like barely processed any of it, but I'm guessing it has something to do with our atmosphere, right? And the reflection of, from our star, like from the sun. This is like one of my favorite spots in any video game I've played. Like just this scene right here. Oh my gosh, Yoska! Yoska, thank you so much for the raid. We're just in a really emotional part of the story right now. Oh, the circus is in town. Oh my gosh, Yoska, sweetie, thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate it. We are playing the first tree tonight. We are just in a climax scene right now. Definitely visually one of my most favorite spots. Let's see if we can see the back. It's not as visually beautiful from the back, but from the front, it was incredibly beautiful. Yovska, how are you? What were you playing tonight? Thank you so much. And also, can we get a shout out for Yovska, please? Can a mod shout out Yovska? Not the climax. Yeah, Yovska, the best part, but also the sad part. This game is very emotive. It is dealing with the narrator's own personal life story, and it deals with love and loss and friendship and family, and dealing with regret. Like the what ifs in life, and truly embracing those negative feelings that we don't really get to talk about on a daily basis, which I think is incredibly important to do, and allowing ourselves to feel those emotions. Hi, how's it going? We're playing Ultra Despair Girls Danganronpa. Oh my gosh, that sounds awesome. Yeah, I know. I've seen other people play Danganronpa, but there's like multiple games, right, Yovska? So I'm not sure if I've seen the one that you're playing. There's a few versions. How was the game, though? How was the game? Oh, swipe to allow or deny. Wait, climax is for some reason, Automod filtered that, Yovska.
I just can't talk about this anymore. Good night.
So the part that you just came in, so the game is following two separate narrations. The first one is the story of the fox. She's looking for members of her family. And the second one is the narrator's own personal story, which is what you're listening to when he's speaking. This game is interesting but fun. It's a hack and slash. Oh, for Danganronpa, right? It's a hack and slash shooter puzzle. Oh, really? It's very story driven too, isn't it, Yovska? I remember the one I was watching. Someone else was streaming it. It was a whodunit. It was a whodunit, and they had to figure out who the murderer was. I don't know if that's the same one or not. But there are multiple games, right, Yovska? There are multiple Danganronpa within the series. Also, I don't know if any other mods can see this, but... oh, wait, did I come from this way? Let me just see. Did I just get distracted? Which way did I come from? Did I come from this way or this way? I think I came from that way. Yes. Or no? Oh my god. I got distracted looking at the chat. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I think that's the way I gotta go. I think this is the way I gotta go. Thank you so much for the shout out. Yes, welcome on in. No, this one is a spin-off, but usually it's just like a visual novel. Yeah, visual novel. It's like very story and narration heavy, right? Also, if anyone who was watching and was paying attention, let me know if I'm going the right way or not, because I looked away for like just a minute to look at the chat, and now I'm disoriented and I don't remember which way I came from, because both ends look the same. I freaking hope to God. I'm going the right way. Yes. Okay, that definitely looks like the mountain range. So to bring you up to speed, for all the raiders who are in, the narrator was talking about the feelings of resentment that you feel growing up towards your parents, because unfortunately, our parents are just people too, and they make mistakes, knowingly or not, and unfortunately or luckily, you do or do not end up processing those feelings or talking to them about it. And his own father passed away, and he was unable to process all of those feelings that he was having. So now he's deeply, deeply regretful and dealing with the grief and sorrow of not being able to have those conversations with his dad that he wished he had. So he lost his chance to do that. Fidos, welcome on in.
You can't go to sleep feeling like this. I'm sorry for everything, and I know you need space, but I'm here for you. You don't need to feel so lost. Joseph, have I ever told you what my mother was like?
Whose parent? The narrator's parent, Fidos. Intense convo I came to, yes. And yes, I am a fox, so I'm just gonna stop moving for a second because I think if I move, it's gonna trigger more narration. So this game was created by a one-man team. It was a passion project, so I know if the graphics could look a little janky or whatever, one guy did everything by himself over the course of like 18 months, and the narration is his own personal life story. It's his own feelings, and creating this was a way for him to process those unresolved emotions, because just the part that you came into, he was unable to resolve those feelings that he had because his dad passed away from a sudden heart attack, and this game was a way for him to release those sort of pent-up feelings that he had, and process and deal with them in order to get past that. It reminds me of Before Your Eyes. Maybe you'd like it. Yes, that would definitely be a game that would be up my alley. I'm gonna have to write that down. Holy shit, that's amazing. It is. Have I played Gris? Yes, Gris is another beautiful game that I absolutely adore. I played Gris, and that's definitely...
You know what it's like not to have a mom at home. And you know how hard that made my childhood. What helped me was watching the birds in the morning before the school bus came. I thought that my mother was one of those birds, and it made me want to be free like her. My mom taught me how to fold origami cranes while she was in the hospital. So I told myself I would fold one every day until I could fly myself.
Sorry, when the narration starts, I'll just stop talking so you guys can appreciate the voice acting. So he got himself and his wife to narrate everything too. So those are them speaking, actually.
I think we both have always loved animals. And for me, that love started with a dog. Sometimes this Rottweiler would come up to our property line and wait at the fence for me, but only once in a while. I was sure to check every day immediately after school, and it usually ended in disappointment. I would even steal money from my passed-out dad just so I could buy these off-brand dog biscuits. Even when she did stop by, she never went beyond the fence. Why was she so scared?
But yes, I've played Gris as well. I've completed the game, and I've hundoed that game for achievements as well. Also, I need to go lurk. My food is finally ready. No problem, Yovska. Thank you so much again for the raid. Enjoy your meal, and I really appreciate both the raid and the lurk. You enjoy yourself and have a good night, Yovska.
I think my dad was the opposite of your dad in almost every way, except he was in the military as well. He coped with alcohol of every kind. The trailer started falling apart, he got angry, and I withdrew. More and more, I became the weird, quiet kid who made lots of origami birds and carried dog biscuits around. I think we were pretty similar when it came to being the weird kids. And that same sincerity in college was one of the reasons I was so drawn to you.
So found family is a theme and topic that we were talking on about before too, and how it's so important to find those people, friendship or, romantically too, of finding someone who could truly support you where, your originally family couldn't.
Worse and worse. And at one point, I really didn't think I could survive another day with my soul still intact. I had no real friends, let alone neighbors, since we lived in the middle of nowhere. I should have talked to my teacher, but I was scared what he would do if he found out. As I waited for the school bus one morning, I walked around until I found something in an abandoned shed. Something I can't put into words.
Oh shoot, I should eat too. Thank you for the reminder. Oh, no problem, Fidos. I'll be AFK for a while. Gotta make dinner. I'll have you in the background. Thank you so much for the lurk, Fidos, and enjoy your dinner. Have a good one. And I appreciate the lyric, of course.
I summoned courage I didn't know I had, and I broke into my dad's room and found the key to the shed where he had locked my bike. I'll never forget that feeling. The wind rushing by my ears as the sun rose over fields of wheat. I was flying for the first time. I biked as far as my legs could take me until I found a house that felt friendly, and that felt like home. Those strangers helped me in so many ways. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have found my foster family. And if it wasn't for my parents, I wouldn't have met you. You have strength, Joseph, and you're not as alone as you think.
It's all just so pointless. Just waiting for life to happen. It's like having the home I always wanted is cursed out of my reach. The thought of being a parent myself. How could I do that when I couldn't even be a good son? I'm sorry. I know what you're saying. I just don't know how things will work out. These quiet hours will turn into years. We'll wonder which roads passed us by.
Then we'll forge a new road together. Besides, I discovered for myself that one fateful morning where any hopeful road leads to. There may be thorns and mist, but it always leads to the same thing.
And what's that?
Family.
I'm so glad that you're part of my family, Rachel.
And I'm glad you're part of mine.
Yes, so found family. Found family is something that anyone is capable of achieving, you know? If you find yourself being one of those people who've, gotten unlucky in the draw of life where your actual blood family, might not have been the best of people, or, there's people out there who are in terrible situations, worse than even what he's talking about or what she's talking about. But if you end up surrounding yourself with a supportive community or found family through friends, that having those pillars of support really can help you heal and get through anything, rather than trying to deal with things alone. And again, I'm incredibly blessed to have, incredible found family. And picking the right people to surround myself with. They say that it takes 5 to 10 minutes to gauge whether or not you can be friends with somebody, and I feel like my radar is pretty strong when it comes to that, because I know too sometimes people don't get lucky in either the friendship department either. But the best thing that you can realize is that you can keep trying until you do find somebody who you click with, friendship-wise or romantically too. And it would be pointless to pursue something that isn't working either, in either category. And I really love the part of the narration too about how he worries about how he might end up making the very same mistakes that his own father did, when he was growing up. And that might be something that you or, someone else who is dealing with those same sort of feelings too. But that just brings a light and shows how, we really are just human at the end of the day, and it's okay to make mistakes. No one is perfect, friendship, lover, or family-wise, and it's never too late to turn things around. And the fact that he even has the introspection to even acknowledge those feelings of fear and doubt and anxiety when it comes to raising his own family, I think is incredibly beautiful and poignant, because not everybody does that. Because back to, processing negative feelings that cause anxiety or depression or just makes you unsure about who you are as a person, is something that a lot of people end up avoiding. So being self-reflective is so essential and so incredibly important, to mature as a person, and so you don't end up making those same mistakes. If there are big mistakes, or big moments of betrayal or what have you, if it comes to family or lovers or friends or what have you, and moving forward with that knowledge so that you don't end up repeating history. But that starts with acknowledging that that you don't do those things, because there's another saying too, what hurt people hurt people, and that's also very true. That's very true. So like we were mentioning earlier on in the stream, that bad situations can end up in several different ways. You either end up dead inside, or you become apathetic towards life, or you become incredibly angry and lash out at life or everyone around you, or the other option is to treat it as a learning experience and growing as a person, and becoming a kinder person because of it, which is not the easiest option out of all of those. That's the difficult option out of all of those, but I think it's the most rewarding. It's the most rewarding, and if you really want to heal from bad situations, it really is the only option. Now I have to be careful not to get out of bounds again, because I think if I go too close up here, okay, I might have to go around. Because triggering if you go out of bounds for this, you will end up triggering the next level and skipping a portion of the narration. So it's good to stay near the middle. Just a heads up. And again, this game, for any of the raiders who are in too, this game is currently on sale on Steam for 90% off. So that is a steal. I think that's even more than when I purchased it. It's I don't know, I definitely feel like that's like a crazy amount of a discount. But it goes to supporting the creator, who, again, he created this game all by himself on the side while raising his family and having a full-time job already on the side, which is insane to think about. Absolutely insane. You have to be incredibly diligent to do something like this. Even with myself too, like, making sure you're consistent with updating, whatever it is that you'd like to do as like a hobby or as a passion project. Just making sure. He has a quote that he says, don't have a day where you do 0%, sorry. Don't have a day where you do 0%. If you could at least get 1% of, work or progress in with whatever it is that your objective is, that is better than 0. Which I think is true. It is true. And it's okay not to do more than just 1%. I think 1% sometimes is all we can give. Baby steps is better than no steps. And before you know it, when you turn around, the distance that you made will be more than you thought. Also, this level is so cute. I spent so long just like walking around with like the deer, taking pictures with them. I love it. I love it so much. But yeah, I think the Yoska recommended a game that's like similar to this. If anyone has any recommendations with games that are similar, I would love to hear them. Actually, in the Discord, I added that new thread. That's the suggestions. If you have suggestions for games for me, you could post it there. If it's on brand. Because if it's something like horror games or something, I won't touch that. I won't touch that unless it's like Halloween or a special occasion. But comfy cozy games, relaxing games, emotive, magical, whimsical, nature themed, animal themed, something like that. That's up my alley. But this level is so beautiful. I love it so much. Man, my throat is so parched too, you guys. I feel like I've been talking more than usual too. Even with the chunks of narration. I feel like my voice is already getting raspy from talking so much. I think this is actually close. I think there's 1 or 2 levels left too, actually. So this is going pretty swimmingly. The only reason I took so long the first time and second time is because I was doing achievement hunting. But if you just play straight through like this, it is about just like 2 hours, I would say, of game time. But I'm the type who also loves to explore and like check every nook and cranny because I know that there are things to find. And I think that's just so fun too as a developer to like sneak those little things in for people to look for. So much fun. And the fact that he did this by himself is so incredible and inspirational. And then circling back to his story too, that thankfully he did move out of Alaska and, you know, pursued his dreams. And at the time of making this game and like as he released it too, he had a full-time job as like a illustrator or art director. And because this game was so successful, he was actually able to quit that full-time job and became a full-time indie game developer. Isn't that so crazy how like your life can change just like that? You know, for the good. That's just so inspirational. And having done this, creating this with just using free resources, just $10,000, which is pennies when it comes to creating video games, and turning it into something that, you know, thousands of people, like this game touched thousands of people, because it obviously this story isn't unique to just him. Of course, everyone out there has dealt with loss or will deal with loss sometime in their life.
The fox knew her last cub would be waiting for her at the first tree. She was almost there. The rain cascaded onto the Jade Valley where the entrance to the tree was. Life was protected there, because that's where life began. It was now only a mother and a daughter left. Items from my life still dotted the ground as she moved closer to her destination.
No!
Destiny.
That's fine. Okay, so there were stars over there. But again, I already completed all of the star crap, so it's fine. And the stars don't unlock any part of the story. It's just for achievement hunting. So do not worry. Do not worry to anyone who just cringed watching me fall over the cliff like that. I did not predict how far the chasm there was, but it's fine. It's fine. You did not miss anything. But yes, this game, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so this game, one of the common themes in the reviews you'll see is that not only did this help the creator process his own feelings, but a lot of people were touched by the story because, you know, they were going through the same thing. And I think that's incredible how like something like a game could help people heal. You know, it really is healing. And also too for myself, like I guess I'm lucky in the fact that I haven't had to deal with loss in the sense of death. No one that I've cared about has passed away, which I don't even want to think about that, honestly.
At the end of high school, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Drive. I looked into the best architecture schools on the West Coast, then got a dose of reality when looking at other students' portfolios and the high cost of tuition. I still wanted to be something, to be the next Alvaro Siza, and to make those thousands of sketches worth something in my grand history. But now even an internship sounds impossible. Siza helped me understand how essential emotion is in architecture. And he also said light is the real composer of space. I like to think these glints of light, like not finding a job, or even a strange dream about a fox, are something I should be thankful for. Even if the illuminated space is something I'm less than comfortable with.
I love how he started out penniless and, you know, even being able to pay for an internship and just, you know, struggling with completing school. You know, how incredible is that you can turn your life around at any moment. I think that's just so important to not like let go of, you know, the hope and, you know, the belief that things can get better. And you do have the power to turn things around, you know. So if you've ever had to deal with, you know, the sense of like hopelessness, or, you know, you're stuck in a rut, you know, either, you know, literally or figuratively, it's not forever. And at the end of the day, things can change, you know, at the drop of a hat, positively or negatively. But, you know, life is precious. You know, we're talking a lot about death and things like that. But I think that's what makes like life so beautiful. Like, not to get like too sappy. I don't know if I'm being sappy or whatever, but I think that it just makes you appreciate life and like what you have, and not take things for granted when, you know, you do remember that, you know, this isn't forever. Your time here isn't forever. And what you choose to spend, you know, your finite time on earth doing is really up to you. And if you are in a bad situation, there is the possibility of turning it around. I just love hearing, you know, stories like his, where he was worrying about, you know, just finding an internship, having his first job, and, you know, putting in, you know, the hours into something that was his own personal passion project that had nothing to do with what, you know, he originally went to school for. And then turning it into something that touched thousands of people. It truly is a work of art. That's how I see it. And in a way too, like a personal novella of like cataloging, you know, his own personal life story. And, you know, he has become wealthy from this too. Because after this game launched on Steam, he ended up being able to port it to the Switch and other gaming consoles, which is incredible.
My dad was super supportive with my college plans. To a point. Things were okay until this terrible accident happened. I guess a forklift flipped over due to a bad axle, and it crushed one of the workers there. My dad didn't eat for days, even though he wasn't directly involved. It devastated him. Not only did it hurt the business, but it just freaked him out. He would talk in his sleep, muttering things about firing people and saying sorry. One fateful day he approached me, said that since my school search wasn't going well, I should finally be a man and take over the family business. He said one day he was going to die, and that all of his work, sacrifice, and even that man's life would be wasted in vain. I just lost it. Teenage me just exploded at the thought. I screwed up. I said things I shouldn't have. He was having a crisis, and I pretty much spit in his face.
I think nowadays too, it's not just midlife crises that are common, but certainly quarter life crises. I truly believe so anyways. And speaking from personal experience, there's a lot of pressure on young people to be successful from a young age, you know, entering our 20s, and the expectation of having it all together, you know, by a certain timeline or a certain age is, you know, very prevalent right now in our society, which is incredibly, incredibly unhealthy, because there is no timeline for anything. And now it's not just your parents, it's social media, you know, making people feel unsure about where they are in life, or just feeling like they're not good enough, which is incredibly, like I said, unhealthy and toxic, because there really is no timeline set for anything. And there's a multitude of people who ended up, you know, changing careers or completely changing their life around later in life. And that's completely normal and okay. And you do not have to do things by a certain age. You know, you don't have to get married by 30. You don't need to have kids by the same age or whatever. You don't need to have like a 6-figure salary by a certain age either. There's a unique timeline for everybody. that is very uniquely and specially yours. Comparing yourself to other people is so unhealthy. It's unproductive. You just need to look inward and, focus just like on yourself, on your own goals and your own hopes and on your own hopes and dreams, without comparing yourself to other people, because you're not other people. They are them, and you are you. And having unsupportive parents, to say the least, is not helpful whatsoever. So that's where found family and friendships hopefully are a different form of support, pillars of support that make you more comfortable with the fact that it's okay to go along your own timeline, and it's okay to do things at your own pace. And also, I can't remember if I can go up there, up to that place. Again, I don't want to go out of bounds. I don't want to go out of bounds because I don't want to trigger the end of the storyline. But yeah, that's the story. Like, honestly, again, when I was playing, I was tearing up multiple times because you really feel him pouring his heart out and his emotions. Just out there for us, like, while you're playing. And being vulnerable is just something that people need to learn how to do as well, because vulnerability breeds closeness with your loved ones, friends and family. Opening up is something that people need to learn how to do too, without the fear of being judged. And also, I don't think I can go up here. I think this is just a part of the environment. Anyways, we can take a good look up here, actually. Okay. Yes, this is the last level. I think I see a spiral of light over there too, and over there. So I'm pretty sure this is close to the end. But I hope. Before we finish, I really hope that, this, listening in has, touched some of you or helped you, think about things in your own life. Because, again, no one can escape, processing death, around you. That's something we're all going to have to end up dealing with. If not now, then later. And, embracing those feelings, letting yourself be sad is incredibly important. Processing those feelings is just so integral to healing. And, just not taking anything for granted. Just knowing that, again, because like he said too, his dad was having a midlife crisis. Realizing how fragile life really is. And then that ended up in an argument between the two of them, right before, he inevitably ended up passing too. Which is another thing too, is learning how to pick what's worth, causing a fight over or not. And Jay, good night. Yes, heading to bed. Thanks for the stream. Good night. Sleep tight, Jay. Thank you so much for coming on in. I hope you found this game relaxing and cozy and, good to unwind to before going to sleep. I had a friend who decided she didn't want to study what she was studying. She realized it in the middle of the thesis of graduation, and it was rough for her because she wanted to quit, but felt really bad for her parents that had paid for her studies, so it was difficult to come to terms with it. But in the end, she did it, and her parents were supportive of it. Oh, I love that, Fidos. Yeah, honestly, career-wise too, oh my gosh, that was so stressful. I don't know what it is, but I don't know why society thinks that 18-year-olds should decide what they want to do for fucking ever. As a freshly legal adult, 18, you guys, and they make us go and choose our career path when we're so young. And you see this time and time again, because who you are as a teenager is not who you end up becoming or growing into as an adult. And then you end up you realize what you ended up picking was for other people, like your parents, and not for yourself. Lucius, hi, welcome on in. Anna is my vibe role model. Oh, that's such a nice compliment. Thank you so much. Yeah, fuck no, way too early. Yeah, Fidos, like, dude, like, I don't know what it is. Like again, because like, so, like now, like thinking about it, it's insane, you guys, how we really push kids into, you know, forcefully making them take big financial risks and decisions at such a young age, and you know, they just pick things that they think that is going to make their family happy, not them. And, you know, nowadays school is not cheap, right? So you end up taking a huge financial risk doing that. And I don't think it's healthy. I truly think that every kid should take at least a leap year, or, you know, take their early 20s to figure out who they are and try out different jobs. Because, you know, not every job needs a degree either. Like, unless you're becoming a specialist in something like a doctor, you really do not need a degree. 18 legal adults, sure, but we're still children. Yeah, like that's so true though. And you know, they say your brain continues to develop until you're 25. And I was definitely a homophobic Catholic schoolboy at 18. Yeah, there we go, Lucius. Like, there you go. You were a completely different person. I would hope to now. And, you know, the fact that you are not just is a testament to how we change and grow as people. Not just through our own viewpoints, but again, our own passions and interests and hobbies. A person's brain doesn't even finish developing until 25. Yes, I did. Yeah, our frontal lobe does not finish developing. Okay, so I'm just making sure. I think the only other things on this map, because this is the end game. The only things on this map are the stars. I don't want to see, because if there's any spirals left, those are pieces of narration. But I do not see any spirals. I just see a little bit of stars. You know what? I think we can try the truck, actually, down there, just in case. But yeah, I think it's absolute insanity how, like, we as a society have set these arbitrary rules for everybody to apply to, because it's not like a one-size-fits-all situation. You know, not everyone grows up knowing what they want to do, and heck, even now there's people as adults who don't know what they want to do, you know. And I, like, a lot of the time people don't figure that out until way later in life. And just like how his dad was having a midlife crisis, I really think it's become extremely common among young people to have quarter life crises. And I say that also speaking for myself. Like, I can say without a doubt that, like, my early to mid 20s was some of, like, the worst years of my life mentally. Because, like, I constantly felt like a failure, where, like, I felt like I was not living up to the societal norms, like I wasn't hitting these like invisible achievements that other people were hitting. And, you know, it's so unhealthy and it's so stressful to deal with. But luckily now too, I feel like the older you get, and again, you need a strong support group. You become okay with realizing that, hey, you know, there really is no timeline, you know, and doing things at your own pace, at your own time is completely normal. I mean, considering the doom-riddled hell state of the planet, being a young person these days seems difficult and awful. Oh boy, Pixel, yes. With social media too, like, for the majority of us here, like for me too, as a millennial, like, we grew up on the cusp of technology right before it turned into this toxic, you know, life encompassing thing where everyone has, like, a phone in their hand 24/7. You know, you see people on the bus or outside just constantly staring at their phone, looking at social media, and, you know, indirectly being told, you know, what to do and when, you know, and how to, you know, move through life and doing certain things and adhering to these so-called rules. I cannot imagine what it's like being a young person now. Because for us, like, for me anyways, like, when we were in high school, Instagram was just starting to grow. It was still very in its infancy. But now it's 10 times worse, I would say. And then also making sure, did I already get the story that was here? I think so. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this is going to be the end game very soon. But yeah, holy shit. I can't imagine so for I would say millennials, a lot of us was like a quarter life crisis in our 20s, and I can bet you that a lot of kids now are experiencing crises as teenagers, and I can only imagine what that must feel like. It's unfortunate, and again, I don't know, like I feel like this is, I don't know, being philosophical or whatever, if this is just something that, I don't know. I feel like this should be taught in schools. Having these sort of introspective, emotional maturity,
In the distance, the first tree illuminated the wasteland. She couldn't go home anymore. She did the only thing she was capable of: moving forward. My dad died alone in the middle of the wilderness. I should have been talking to him more. I should have done a lot of things differently.
If the first tree on earth brought life with it, if it taught the birds to sing and fly and showed saplings how to grow, what could it do for us?
But what does the fox say, Lucius? So, I mean, if it's not obvious by now, the fox is a metaphor for himself. Again, this game was made as like a love note to his deceased father. I feel like, so again, I haven't had to deal with
There was a letter I
grief like
received
this
yesterday
with
from
a
name
family
I
member
don't
passing away,
recognize, with
but
a quote I can't stop thinking about. Death is not the opposite of life, but a part of it. More and more, I'm realizing one important truth. Each of us have our own journey to the first tree. But sometimes I'm not sure I'm ready to take that first step.
You already have my love.
ooh, that's a good one. I mean, we all return to the earth someday. But before that happens, I mean, don't take things for granted, you guys. That includes your friends and your family. Like if it's something that you can heal, if there's things that you can fix, I mean, don't dawdle before it's too late. And I just love this scene too. I love the music, the crescendo. The fact that this was so-called stock music blows my mind. So, an amazing part of this game is you can leave messages for other players to read. So, let's see, what should we write? The first tree awakens and gently asks if there's one last message the fox wanted to tell her children. She replies back and says, what should we say? Maybe just... Lucius, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, Lucius. We're having a beautiful moment. We could just say, I love you. So again, the message that you leave here, another player who ends up playing this game, Pixel, you guys are banned. You guys are banned. Yeah, so the message you leave, someone else will end up reading. So if you play, please do not write Dokun to the moon. Please do not write those messages. Write something actually from the heart.
Her journey was over, but I have no idea. It was only a dream, a distraction from tomorrow.
I don't think dreams normally bring back to memory so many important feelings. Maybe it was just a dream, but it was also a gift.
Yeah, I suppose. But tomorrow we're getting on a plane to the last place on Earth I want to be. The only person that would have made the trip worth it is gone.
You're going to see him and be with him one last time before you say goodbye. I have one last quote for you by Emerson, sealed in an imaginary letter from me to you. It is the secret of the world that all things subsist and do not die, but only retire a little from sight and afterward return again. Go to sleep, my love. We have a big day tomorrow, but I'll be there with you every step of the way.
Thank you. Thanks for listening. Good night, Rachel.
Good night, Joseph.
I was not emotionally ready for emotions today. Yeah, Lucius, embrace those emotions, man. We were talking about this earlier, that a lot of the time we don't allow ourselves time and space to, embrace these kinds of feelings on a day-to-day basis. And the game isn't over. The game is not over. There's still one last bit left, but we're almost there, you guys. It's almost the end game. Pixel, come on. Donate the Loblaws sushi is the perfect, greatest act of love I could offer a stranger. Dude, I'm like a raccoon. I can eat, what's it called? Gas station sushi and be fine. I have like I have an iron stomach. Okay, so now we are in Alaska. We're in Alaska. I'm pretty sure this is the cabin he was talking about. And we are in the perspective now of the narrator. Because he's back home. He's visiting his house, right? This is his childhood home. And I'm guessing this is like based on reality too. Like this is what it looks like. So he's back home after his dad passed away to see his childhood home. I get heartburn from tepid drinking water. Lucius, you gotta build up your immune system. But to be honest, though, like I don't drink tap water because I just don't like minerals. I don't like the minerals that are in it. Okay, so I know around here. Okay, we're very close to the end, you guys. We're very close to the end. I really like spicy food. Oh, I'm the opposite, Lucius. I am a sweet tooth. I don't. So we're the guy now, right? Yes. So we are the main narrator, who is the creator of the game. And now we are back at his childhood home in Alaska. That's his house. And he just left his house, and now he's out in his own backyard. But yes, so I'm the opposite of being a spicy food lover or like a sour food lover. I love sweet things or bitter things. But we've almost made it to the end game, you guys. We're very close to the end now. So this is like one of the things that he liked doing with his dad. If anyone remembers, just going camping or sitting and enjoying nature. So he's probably just revisiting memories.
What the hell?
I would love to visit Alaska. So I'm just gonna shut up and let you guys enjoy the music because this is a really good song in my opinion. Yes, it does seem gorgeous. Do they really, Lucius? Probably because there's like such a small population. So here's where you can have the alternate ending. I'm not going to spoil, but we're not going to do the alternate ending. We're going to do the main ending. It's called the Permanent Fund Dividend last year. Oh my gosh, I think Japan has something similar in the countryside. I have, Lucius, I have. No spoilers, though, for anyone who wants to play. So this is a message another player left behind. Your journey has only begun. My love will follow you forever. That's beautiful. Please leave genuine messages behind if you play this game. It's the foxes and her babies. They're reunited. And that's the ending. That's the ending. Okay, won't mention Dokkan at all. Yes, no, please don't. Please don't troll, you know, because what if someone is actually dealing with these emotions and then they just read like a jokey line? I don't know if there's any moderation involved in that, but I mean, I don't think it would be nice. I don't think it would be nice. But that's the game. We wrapped it up. So I think that was just like a little over 2 hours. It might be faster or slower depending on what kind of player you are, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean I did, but I'll definitely be playing more indie games like this in the future. But before you guys leave, maybe we can raid somebody. We'll see who's online. Let me take a look. We're gonna see who's online. It was a very pretty game. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. For me, like again, oh, let's just see here. Would you like to announce like some of your statement? Yes. Okay, see, it is moderated. So even if you write like a what's it called? Like a troll comment, they're not going to let it through because again, I feel like that would ruin the atmosphere for like someone who wants to Oh, look, she has her babies next to her now in the beginning. That's beautiful. Yeah, thanks for the chill vibes. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yes, I hope that like for anyone who's been listening tonight enjoyed the chill, relaxing, comfy, cozy stream tonight. But now we're gonna see who is online because we'll raid. So keep your butt in here. Keep your butt in here. And we're gonna check who's online, and then we'll raid. And also, so my animated emotes are finally approved. So let's see who's online. Ooh, Birdo's still playing, so let's raid Birdo. Okay, let's see if I can start this. Raid. Birdo. Okay, let's see.